All right, guys, can you guys hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. I tried to pop back on and see if that would kick the sound in. So just drop me a note in the chat box if you can. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see this and if you're able to hear me. You got it? Okay, perfect. Well, a slight technical glitch. He likes to keep you on your toes. So, okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into this. So, conversion pixels and website custom audiences. So the first thing you need to know is Facebook is actually rolling out a brand new pixel. So they're going to make things a little bit easier on us, and we're going to combine this pixel into one. So you don't need to worry about this. This isn't going to be a big, huge change or anything. But what you do need to know is basically we're going to have one unified pixel. So now we're not going to have to install a bunch of different pixels to track audiences and conversions. So what would happen before is that you would install, you might have a couple of pixels installed on one page, and that could load, that can mean that your page loaded slow, or sometimes things would go funky with your conversion pixels or your custom audience pixels. So now it's just going to be one pixel. So this means that your pages are going to load a lot faster, which is great, especially in internet marketing and online marketing, because people move so fast, they don't want to wait on your page to load. So this is going to improve SEO, and again, it's going to keep things from going funky. So you'll also be able to track from multiple events now. Right now, I think there's 4 or 5 events you can track for. So you can track for registrations, leads, checkouts, and they're going to roll out a couple of new versions of this so you can track for other things. You'll also be able to create your own custom event. So if you've got something that's specific to your business that you want to track for, you'll be able to do that. So what is a conversion pixel? So again, it's important to understand the difference between these two and how they work so you know when to use them. So this is the Facebook definition here. A conversion tracking reports the actions people take after your ads are viewed. So if I see your ad on Facebook and I click through and I go sign up for your email list, that counts as a conversion. So you place this piece of code on your website, and this is going to send a message back to Facebook when someone visits your website or takes this action. Then, so you place this pixel on any page that you want to track. So again, if I see your ad on Facebook, I click on it and I go and I sign up for your email list or I buy your product, that counts as a conversion. So Facebook is going to send a message back, or this code's going to send a message back to Facebook saying, okay, that counted as a conversion. So now you're able to track how many conversions you're getting from your ads and what your cost is. So now you can figure out which ads are performing the best, and you also know what you're paying per conversion. So you know if you're spending too much or if your cost is just right. It's also going to make your ads more effective. So when Facebook is optimizing for conversions, when you've got a conversion ad set up and you're using a conversion pixel, it's optimizing for a conversion. So that's going to help boost your conversions and keep your costs low. The more people you have converting, the better your ads are performing. It's going to help Facebook hone in on the types of people that are converting. So it's just going to make your ads even more effective. So that's why it's so important to use these conversion pixels and to have them set up on your page. The important part is where you install it. So a big mistake that I see people make is that they will install the conversion tracking pixel on the wrong page. So you want to make sure that this goes on the thank you page or confirmation page. And I'm going to walk you through how to set up a conversion tracking pixel on a lead page. I know a lot of people use lead pages, so we're going to walk through that when we pop over to Facebook. So it always goes on the thank you page or confirmation page. Whatever page they hit after they've signed up for your email list or they've purchased a product. You don't want to put this on the opt-in page, the landing page, or the sales page, because then you're just tracking website clicks, right? It's counting a conversion as anyone that hits your website. So that's why you want it to go on the thank you page or the confirmation page. Now you want to make sure your conversion tracking pixel's working. Most of the time you have no problems with this, but sometimes, every now and then something will go funky. So I've got, I use the Facebook Pixel Helper to make sure everything's installed correctly. So I'll share that link with you guys when we pop over to Facebook. But it's just this cool little tool that tells you, yes, it's working, or no, it's not. And then if you need to create a new pixel or you need to reinstall it. That way you can fix it and make sure that your ads are working. So that's conversion pixels. Now let's talk about a website custom audience. So a website custom audience. Now this is targeting, right? So conversion pixels tracking conversions. A website custom audience is a way to target people that have visited your website before. So it allows you to target your Facebook ads to audiences of people who have visited your website and remarket to people who have expressed interest in your products. So you've got to install this piece of code to be able to track the people that are coming to your website. It's a really effective targeting group if you have enough website traffic. So if your business is new or if you're not getting a ton of traffic to your website, you'll want to build that up first before you start using website custom audiences. But it's important to know how they work, and that way you can start to incorporate them into your strategy as your numbers start to grow. It's also great for bringing people back to your website, right? So if they've been to your website, they've read your blog post, they know a little bit about you, they are going to be more interested in your products or services than someone that has no idea who you are. So it's usually a really effective targeting group. This is also great if you're e-commerce or retail. It's a really effective way to bring people back and actually convert them into buyers. Most people don't buy the first go round. They like to go shop. They like to go check out other pages, other businesses. So this is a great way to stay in front of them to make sure that you're bringing them back and you're not just losing them. So here's the big long definition of what a custom audience is. And this will make a lot more sense when we pop over to Facebook, but just so you understand how it works. Custom audience pixel is activated every time someone opens a web page where the code is installed. The pixel is activated and an event is sent to Facebook servers with general information about the browsing session. So they're tracking what pages you're visiting. Did you go to the About page? Did you go to the contact page? Did you visit specific product pages? So Facebook's gathering all of this information, sending it back to Facebook so you can target based on these. They call them events. So the events are compared to a set of audience rules the advertiser has created. If the event matches an audience rule, the person who visited the web page is added to that audience. So basically, when you create a custom audience, you can say, I only want to target people that visited this specific page. And based on the pages that I visited, I'll get added to that audience if I visited that specific page. Again, this will make more sense once we pop over to Facebook. Where do you install it? Now, this is a bunch of, techno speak here. So if none of this makes sense to you, no worries. You can always send this to your web developer. Facebook actually makes it really easy to send this. You can actually send a quick email and just have your web person install it for you. Basically, you've got to place the code immediately before the head tags in your HTML. And if your site has a global include file, you can place the code there. Placing the code in the header isn't necessary, but will improve the quality of the events sent to Facebook. So again, if none of this makes sense to you, if you have no idea what any of this means, it's no big deal. Again, you can just send the code, the piece of code, to your web developer and they can install it for you. It'll take them 2 seconds. If you use WordPress, I have a WordPress site. There are WordPress plugins you can use, and I'll share with you guys the one that I use for my website. So I've got that for you guys to share. So let's actually pop over to Facebook, and we're going to walk through setting these up. All right, let me know if you can see this all right. And hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. All right. So here's what you need to do. We are in Ads Manager. So to get to the conversion tracking and where you're going to set up your website custom audience, when you're in Ads Manager, you're going to come over here all the way to where it says Tools. So your screen might look a little bit different to mine, again, because Facebook's rolling out the new pixel. So I've got a couple of clients that have access to it. Their screen looks a little bit different than this one. So if your screen looks a little bit different, that's why. If yours looks the same as mine, you just don't have the new pixel yet. Again, they're rolling it out, so you should get it in the next couple of weeks. But it's still going to be a similar process. So let's start with conversion tracking. So you'll just come to Tools, hit the drop-down menu, Conversion Tracking. So I've got a couple of examples set up here. And you'll see that I've got 2 that say that they're active. So these are installed, they're working, they're tracking for conversions. And I've got one that says no activity yet. So this was just one I was playing around with. It's not actually installed. So I'm getting this red dot that says it's not active. So you'll just want to come in here. If your pixel's installed the right way, you're going to have the little green dot and it's going to say active. Otherwise, you're going to get the red dot, and then you know that it's either not installed on the right page or it's not installed properly. So you'll need to go back and take a look at it. So let's create our first pixel. So up here in the right-hand corner, you're just going to hit Create Pixel. And then you'll just choose the type of action you want to measure. So if you're tracking checkouts, registration leads, key page views, adds to cart, and you can also select other website conversions. So again, they're rolling out some more options. So I don't have access to those yet, but we should be getting them soon. So I'm just going to do leads. I'm just going to call this leads test, since this is just a test for now. So then I'll select Create Pixel. So name it whatever makes sense for you. I usually name it after, if I'm sending them to an opt-in offer, I'll name it after the offer. But just so it makes sense to you and so you know what you're tracking for. Okay, so you'll see here, you've created a conversion tracking pixel. If you just want to send it to your web person, have them install it, you can hit email pixel code and drop their email in right here. And then it's got all the instructions for them, right? So you'll just hit send and this will go straight to your web person. If you want to install it yourself, it's really, really easy. We're just going to copy this. Now I use Lead Pages. I recommend using Lead Pages if you're, trying to get opt-ins because they work. They're really easy to use. So over here in Lead Pages, this is my thank you page for this weekly webinar series. So if I want to track conversions for people that are signing up for this weekly webinar, this is the page I want to install my conversion tracking code on, right? Because it's the thank you page. So it's the page they hit after they've entered their email. They've completed that action. And in Lead Page, it's really simple. You just come up here to the left-hand side of your thank you page where it says Lead Page Options, and then select Tracking Codes. And you'll see I've actually already got one installed here, but you'll just copy and paste in this box where it says Head Tracking Code. So just copy and paste, hit Done. You'll want to save and publish your page because you want to make sure that you're publishing the changes that you've made to your page. And then what you'll want to do is actually go to that page. So you want to navigate to this page. And then I always like to hit refresh. So basically what you're doing is you're activating that pixel, right? So when you go to the page, you hit refresh, it's sending a message back to Facebook saying, okay, this pixel's working, it's installed the right way. So that's what's showing here where it says active. So I didn't actually install this pixel, right? Because I've already got one installed on this page, but you'll see the one that I have installed is active. So as long as it turns green and it says active, you're all set. Now this pixel helper, so you'll see up here, if you guys can see this, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it because it's so small, but up here in the right-hand corner, I've got this blue box and then this little green box and the number 2. So this is an extension that you add on to Chrome, and it's called the Facebook Pixel Helper, and it will help you figure out if your pixels are working or not. So this is the website here. I will drop this in to the chat box for you guys so you have it. You've got to be using Google Chrome if you're going to use this, but it tells you whether or not your pixels are working. So like this is just an example here, and it says 1 pixel found, 1 error. So if it's not loading, you'll get a little red box and it'll say error, and then you know you need to go back and reinstall your pixel or maybe even create a new one. But it's just a really cool tool. And the fun thing about it is anytime you go to someone else's Facebook page, and if they've got pixels installed, it will pull that up. So if you came to this Facebook page, like you'll see I've got 2 pixels installed on this page. So you can see who's tracking for custom audiences or conversion pixels just by installing this code, which is pretty cool. I think it's kind of fun to see what people are tracking for. So that's the Facebook Pixel Helper. The link is in the chat box. If you guys need it, you can click there. Again, you have to use Google Chrome with it, but it's a pretty cool little tool. I like it. So let's go back to Facebook and let's walk through creating a custom audience, a website custom audience. So from tools, we're just going to select audiences. If you guys have any questions at all on conversion tracking, go ahead and type it in the chat box. If anything's not making sense or if anything's unclear. All right, so here are a couple of examples of custom audiences that I have set up, and these are actually emails. So this is email. So I don't have a website custom audience set up in this account. So we're going to create one. So what we're going to do over here on the left-hand side where it says create audience, we'll come down to where it says custom audience. And we got a couple options here. So we've got a customer list. So that's if you want to upload emails of your current subscribers to Facebook and target them, you can, but we're going to focus on website traffic. So you'll just hit website traffic. Now here are the options. So when I had the slides up and I was talking about the rules that you said and then creating an audience based off of those rules, this is what I was talking about. So when you create your audience, you can set rules. So if you want to target anyone who visits your website, so you just want to target in general everyone that's visited your website. Maybe you've got a new offer you want to share with people or a new blog post, and you're not necessarily having to break it down into people that visited a specific page. You just want to target everyone in general. You'll just select that. Now I think it defaults to 30 days. You can go up to 180 days. So anyone that's visited your website in the last 180 days. So if you don't have a ton of website traffic, you can bump this up to 180 days to help build up that audience size. Obviously, you'll have more people. If you've got a website with a lot of traffic and you just want to target the most recent visitors, that makes sense too. But you'll see here, this checkbox, it includes past website traffic. Okay, so this is going to include anyone that's visited in the last 180 days. Your other options are to target people that visited specific web pages. So this is really cool. I use this a lot with my retail and my e-commerce clients is we can target people that visited specific pages. So we've got fall coming up, and let's say I'm working with a client that sells boots. So we want to target anyone that's looked at our boots in the last couple of days. So we could type in, boots into URL contains, URL equals, and it's only going to target people that have been looking at boots over the last couple of days. So now we could show a promo code and say, hey, your boots are on sale. Why don't you come by and check them out? We know that they're interested in them. They've already, visited the website and looked at them. So now we can target those people again and bring them back. So you can do things like that. You can target people that only visited specific pages on your website. So you can create ads that are specific to them. You can also target people that have visited specific web pages, but not others. So if you say, I want to target people that visited this page, but I want to exclude anyone that visited this page, then you also have that option here. Another option you have is people who haven't visited in a certain amount of time. So if you want to bring back people that haven't visited in the last 180 days, but they haven't been back, then you can do that. So this is a great way to re-engage people so they don't forget about you. I don't know how many times I go to a website. I think it's a really cool, awesome website. I get distracted. I'm clicking on a million other things. And then I completely forget about the website. But if they're showing ads to anyone that's visited, or they're trying to re-engage lost visitors, then I see their ad on Facebook and I always get super excited. It always makes me so happy because I'm like, yes, I totally forgot about that website. I meant to go back and check them out. So it's a great way to re-engage and bring people back. You can also create your own custom combination here. So you can add conditions, you can add exclusions. So if you want to get crazy with it, you can go for it. So you can create that here. I'm just going to say anyone who visits your website to keep things easy. So I'm going to call this website test. Name it whatever you want so it makes sense to you, so you know who you're targeting, and you'll just hit create audience. So what we'll do, you'll see here, it says website test, and it says that our audience is too small. So if you install this on your website, you've got it installed, it's going to take some time for it to populate this list. But if after, a couple days it still says audience too small, you'll just need to wait till you get some more traffic. You've got to have a certain number of people visiting your website for the audience size to be big enough. But ours actually isn't installed right now. So we're just going to check the box next to website test. And then up here, you're going to click on the actions box and you'll come down to where it says view pixel. So this is our pixel code that you will copy. You also have the option here down at the bottom to email your pixel code if you need to. So again, if you just want to email this to your web person, just hit email pixel code. If not, you are going to copy and paste this to your website. Every website's different, so depending on Squarespace or WordPress or whatever you're using, it might be different. So if you want to just reach out to your web person, makes sense. Something you can use, this is the WordPress plugin that I use for WordPress. So I'll drop this into the chat box for you guys so you have this if you're using WordPress. Let me pop this in here for you guys. There you go. So you'll have that. So you can just install this plugin on your WordPress site, and then it gives you a nice little box where you can add your code. It's easy, easy, easy. So if you're doing this on your own, you're doing your website on your own, and you don't want to start messing with, the different files and WordPress and all that good stuff, just use this plugin. It's super easy. It works really well, and you'll be able to get your your pixels installed. So you've got the link in the chat box. And that's it. So again, it's all pretty easy. It's really as simple as copying and pasting, but you just want to make sure that you're putting it on the right pages. So again, for that conversion tracking pixel, you want that to go on the confirmation or the thank you page. And then if it's a custom audience, got to make sure it's actually installed on your website. So again, let's say that I went ahead and I installed this on my WordPress site. It's going to take some time for this to populate a list of people. So you'll get a notification saying your audience is ready. And then it'll, right here where it says size, it'll tell you how many people are in that audience. So if you've got 900 people or 10,000 people or 50,000 people, it'll tell you how many people you have to target. So again, if you're not getting a lot of traffic, you may not have enough to target to use for a custom audience. But as you're running ads and you're building up your traffic, you'll get to the point where you can actually use that. And if you don't have the numbers to use that, to use a custom audience, you can always create a lookalike audience. So if you missed the training, the webinar that we did, I think 2 weeks ago on targeting, I talked a lot about creating lookalike audiences. So you can pop over to YouTube and catch that one. All right, let's see what kind of questions we've got. Okay, so in targeting and creating an audience, is there a traffic threshold? Can you have a custom audience of 1? I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen now. So yes, you've got to have I think I know it's 100 people for a website custom audience. You've got to have at least 100 people to target. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for a website custom audience. So you can't just, if you've only got 50 people visiting your website, that's not going to work. You won't be able to target them. So you've got to hit that minimum number, and Facebook will tell you if your audience size is too small. And as far as how many pixels Facebook allows, do you mean how many like conversion pixels you can have set up? You can set up as many as you want. So if you're tracking for multiple things and you've got a checkout pixel and you've got one for leads or registrations, whatever, you can have as many set up as you need. And now that they're making it into one pixel, it'll be a lot easier. So you won't have to have so many pixels on one page. If you're running 3 campaigns, you have 2 ad sets, 1 ad in each ad set, can I have a pixel for each? So if you're tracking for the same thing, so if all of these ads, if you're sending them all to the same opt-in, so let's say you're sending all these ads to the exact same opt-in, you only need to create 1 pixel. The only time you'll need to create multiple pixels is if you're tracking for different things or if you're sending them to a different opt-in. So if you've got 3 campaigns and they're all going to 3 different places, then you'll need to have 3 pixels. But if you've got a group of ads that are all going to the same place, you only need 1 pixel. I hope that makes sense. So 1 pixel for whatever you're tracking. And if you're tracking, so let's say I want to track checkouts and leads, that would be 2 different pixels. Or if I've got 2 different opt-in offers that I want to test out, so maybe I've got a PDF and I've got a free webinar series, that would be 2 different pixels. So that way you're able to see how many people you're getting signed up for one over the other. So I hope that makes sense. All right, so we were out of time. Sorry again, you guys, for the little glitch with the sound earlier. Thanks for staying on with me. So next week we'll be back. We're going to talk about reporting and tracking next week. So this is really important because it's important to be able to look at the numbers and know what's working and what's not working so that you can tweak your ads to make them more effective. So that's what we've got on the calendar for next week. So just keep an eye on your inbox. I will send all the info to you on Tuesday. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. And if you need help with your Facebook ads, you guys know you can just send me an email, hello@sociallabmarketing.com. We'll hop on the phone and chat. So until next week, I hope you guys have an awesome week. I'll see you next Tuesday.